Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through the notes on graphing quadratic inequalities. At the end of this, you should be able to say I can graph a quadratic inequality and determine its solutions. Okay, so let's just go straight into some examples. I'm just going to go through and graph this as if it doesn't have this little inequality right here. Just going to graph the quadratic first. So here's what I would do to graph the quadratic function, because you don't have to find every single piece like we've been finding before. If you want to just come up with a graph, here's what I would do. First thing I'm going to do is find the axis of symmetry, right? Because that's going to be our x equals. And then the second thing I'm going to do is find our vertex, right? Because we can do that by plugging the x that we just found in and find the y. And then 3, I'm going to use the slope to find the next 2 points. Okay. And then 4, I'm going to plug in 2 more points to come up with 5 total points. Okay. So, first thing, axis of symmetry. Remember, axis of symmetry is x equals negative b over 2a. So in this case, we get x equals negative 4 over 2 times, that's a 1 out there, so 2 times 1. So we get x equals negative 4 over 2, which gives us negative 2. So, our vertex, we know the vertex is going to be at negative 2, and then we want to, second thing we want to do is come up with the y. We want to come up with the vertex. So we know that x is negative 2, so we plug that into our equation. And again, I'm just going to do y equals instead of y is greater than. We'll deal with the inequality at the very end. So we've got negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 minus 5. So in this case, negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 2 is minus 8. And minus 5, that gives us negative 9, right? Yeah. So our vertex is at negative 2, negative 9. So negative 2, negative 9. There's our vertex. We've come up with 1 point. We want to, whenever we're graphing any kind of quadratic, we always want to come up with 5 points. Right? We want to come up with 5 points. So we've got 1 point. To come up with the next points, I'm going to use our slope, which is 1. So I'm going to go up 1 over 1 each way. Up 1 over 1 this way. Up 1 over 1 that way. Now we're at 3 points. And now we just need to plug in 2 more points. So this here, our axis of symmetry here is at negative 2, if you'll remember. Right? So everything's going to get reflected over this line here. So I'm going to plug in 0, which will also give me this point over here at negative 4. So officially we're plugging in, we got x and y. We're plugging in 0 and negative 4, but we just know that whatever we get for 0 is going to be the same thing that we're going to get for negative 4. So if we plug in, guess what? If we plug in 0, we get y equals 0 squared plus 4 times 0 minus 5. That's gone. That's gone. It's basically just our y-intercept, which is negative 5. So negative 5 is going to be another point. That's 2 away from the axis of symmetry, so go 2 more to the other side. And there's where our negative 4 is also going to give us negative 5. So now we have 5 points. Now we can graph this thing. Okay. Now, before we graph it, what we want to do now is now we're going to pay attention to the inequality. So here's our inequality. Since it doesn't have an underline, that means it's going to be a dotted line. So I'm going to sketch a dotted line that goes through here. And again, I'm kind of guesstimating there. So dotted line that goes through our points. Don't know exactly where this is going to cross through for the x, and that's really okay for now. And then, just like what we did with absolute values, we simply just put our pencil anywhere on this graph. I usually just like to put it on the vertex. And I say, where is y greater than? Y is greater than up above in here. So that means everything in here is going to be shaded. All of this in here is going to be our answer, right? So anything that's in this shaded area will be our solution. Okay? Okay. We're going to do another one here in a second, but first let's take a quick little comedy break. All right. Sorry, I just like the funny cat and animal videos there. All right, let's take a look at B. Let's do this one in pink so we can differentiate it between this one over here. So do the same thing. Do these. I'm going to do these same 4 steps, and then we can look at the inequality part and do the shading part. So x squared plus 4x plus 7. So we're going to do x equals negative b, which is 4, all over 2 times a, which is 1. So we get x equals negative 4 over 2. So this one happens to also equal negative 2 for our axis of symmetry, right? So we got our nice little dotted line on here. You don't necessarily have to draw this, but it can make a little bit more sense later on. So we did our axis of symmetry. Now we're going to do our vertex. Okay, so we know that the x value is negative 2. To come up with the y value, we got to plug negative 2 into our equation, right? So let's do that down here. Y equals negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 7. So negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Plus 7 gives us, I believe that's going to be 3, right? So we get negative 2, 3. Negative 2, 3 is our vertex. Okay. So now from there, we'll use our slope to come up with the next point. So that's up 1 over 1. So up 1 from here, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1 the other way. So they both just happen to be positive ones. If it was negative, we'd go down 1 over 1, so forth and so on. And then we want to come up with another, we want to plug in 2 more points. So we got x and our y. So I'm going to plug in 0 and negative 4, right? And again, whatever we get for 0 is going to be the same thing as negative 4. So that's going to make life easy. So if we plug in 0, we get y equals 0 squared plus 4 times 0 plus 7. Those, again, cancel out, and we just get that y equals 7. Okay, so that means at negative 4, it's also going to be 7. So here is 7. That's 2 away, so we go 2 over on the other side, mirror image it, and away we go. There's our 5 points. Now this one is less than or equal to, so that means since it's equal to, it's going to be a solid line. So we do that. And we do that, put our point anywhere on this graph. I usually like to do the vertex, and it says y is less than. So y is less than is down here. So that means everything down in here is all going to be shaded in. That's all going to be part of our, so any point that's in this shaded area is going to be our solution. Okay? Okay, that's all we have for graphing quadratic inequalities. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks.